ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नित्यानंद नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानंद प्रदायिने कलौ कल्मषनाशाय जानवापते नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we are discussing from Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 and verse number 44. Verse 44. Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam mayapurat chetasam व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि समाधो न विचीयते. So in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So this verse, so we discussed about this verse yesterday also. Yesterday in Vada also we discussed. And I did not want to discuss there. So I did not discuss it fully there. And in Gita class also. Then in Gita class I discussed in more detail yesterday. So today also we'll discuss just briefly about this verse. So in this particular verse, Lord Krishna is mentioning in a very straightforward way, in a very clear-cut way, who is not eligible or who cannot become fixed up in devotional service to Krishna, or in simple words, who cannot become Krishna conscious, who cannot attain to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. The disqualification of a person, the disqualifications by which a person, even though he wants to become Krishna conscious, he cannot become. Even though the other person who himself might be fully Krishna conscious, but he cannot also make such a person having this disqualification to fully realize Krishna, to become Krishna conscious. What is that? Uh, Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam. Prasaktanam means those who are too attached. Prasakta. Shaktanam, Asaktanam. Asakti means attachment. So everyone has more or less, to some degree, everyone has some kind of attachments for material things in this world. So that is not wrong. Wrong means that cannot become an obstacle for progressing in Krishna consciousness. But if somebody has developed too much attachment, prasakta, so that becomes a great obstacle. Then samadhana vidhiyate. In this verse, Krishna says, too much attachment, excessive attachment. And what is the symptom of excessive attachment? And what do we mean by too much attachment? We'll discuss about this. But if somebody has developed too much attachment for bhoga means material enjoyment, and aishwarya and opulence. So by such uh, uh, attachment, such kind of excessive attachment, his mind becomes completely bewildered. Aparita chetasam. Chetasam literally means that his proper intelligence or proper determination, proper desire to become Krishna conscious, it is stolen by such kind of excessive attachment. It is kidnapped, अपहरण कर लिया जाता है. अपहरित चेतसाम means चेतसाम, his consciousness is kidnapped completely. And that's why व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि Samadho na vidhiyate. Fixed determination for the devotional service of the Lord. Vyavsayatmika buddhi means one pointed or fixed determination to serve Krishna. One pointed or fixed determination to develop love and attachment only for Krishna. And that cannot take place. Na vidhiyate. It's not at all possible. So who is saying? Lord Krishna is saying. So we cannot reject this qualification. Nobody can say like this that, okay, you maintain excessive attachment for material things also of this material world, and at the same time you expect to become fully Krishna conscious. That's not possible. One has to get rid of this. At least one must have the desire to get rid of it. If somebody is cultivating the desire also to continue the material attachment, then there is no possibility. Samadhana vidhiyate. That's not possible. So what does mean? What does it mean by prasaktanam, too much material attachment? This prasaktanam means that one becomes uh, so much anxious to get some kind of to fulfill some kind of material desires. Bhoga, to get some material enjoyment, to get some Aishwarya, opulence, one who becomes too much anxious. Somebody may have some desire that I want this thing, I want to get this, I want to become like this. That's all right. One may try for it in the material field, but if one is unable to get it, then if somebody is able to reject it immediately, somebody is able to remove it from his heart, that means he is not prashakta now. He is not too much attached. That attachment has gone now. So that person, he can become means he can become attached to Krishna under the guidance of a very advanced devotee, a proper devotee, by hearing from him, by associating with him. So that is possible. But a person who is unable to give up all those material desires, even after knowing very well that I cannot get it, this is not at all possible for. Just like, for example, if somebody has made the goal in his life that I want to become an IAS officer. So he is trying very well. He tried, and to the last limit of age, he tried. Now, no more, but he failed. In all his attempts, he failed. But now, no more, he's not even eligible to appear for the examination. So at that time, he should remove this desire that I want to become an IS officer. If he is able to remove this and continue his life with something else, some by making some other goals, understanding very well that the ultimate purpose of doing all this job and business is to maintain myself and my family. If somebody is able to do it, that means he was not too attached. He had some attachment, some material desires, but he was not too attached. He has easily given it up. But if somebody, even after as soon as he came to know that now I'm no more eligible even for appearing for the examination. So if he feels like that my life is wasted, I am nothing, I am good for nothing, and in this way he decides that it's better to leave my body. What is the use? And like this, he goes in great depression, anxiety for months together, and he is unable to focus on anything else. That is the symptom of excessive attachment, too much attachment. This is one case. Another case, if the same thing is there, but in another way we can explain that if somebody has the desire, somebody had the desire or attachment for something of this material world, but if he knows very well that it cannot be fulfilled at all, that's not possible at all. But still, he is unable to remove those attachments or desires from his heart. So that is also the symptom of prasaktanam, too much attachment, and that also becomes a disqualification uh, to advance in Krishna consciousness. That's why Lord Krishna is very mercifully Here he is telling us that by all means we should give up uh, excessive or too much attachment for anything, any person, any situation, position of this material world. That creates the great obstacle. So samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary Nirukti says samyak adhiyate asmin tattva atma tattva yathamayam. So samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Material energy means Maya. Such persons who are interested in material sense enjoyment and are bewildered by such temporary things, everything in this material world is temporary, just temporary. So they are more or less condemned by Maya. That means they become the candidate for Maya. So uh, they cannot advance. So that's why then Lord Krishna concludes this thing and instructs Arjuna that, oh my dear Arjuna, that's why you should give up all these things. He says, now today's verse, Krishna says, Trigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdvando Nitya Sattvistho Niryoga Kshemam Atmavan. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Atmavan. Atmavan means established in the self, understanding very well that I am not this body, I am a spirit soul. To understand the transcendental situation of the soul and establishing oneself to be in that situation means that one should not get affected by dualities and the effects of those dualities in terms of gain and safety, loss and profit, um, and this respect, disrespect, profit, loss, gain and safety, all these things are the effects or the results of having the dualities. Duality means one is still conditioned by the modes of material nature. So what are these three modes of material nature? The three modes of material nature are explained in more detail, will be explained in 14th chapter. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance means tamogun. Tamogun means a person who is influenced by this third quality, tamogun, or mode of ignorance. He performs. He gets the inspiration to perform sinful activities. Means breaking of four regulatory principles. Such persons who are influenced by prominently who are influenced by mode of ignorance, tamogun. So they get the inspiration to perform sinful activity like this meat eating, intoxication, illicit connection, and gambling. These four sinful activities are pillars of adharma, irreligion, and uh, this is the result of getting influenced by mode of ignorance. This is simple. Another mode is a mode of passion. So a person who is influenced by mode of passion, he has lots of ambitions in his life. He wants to fulfill his ambitions, goals. He sets so many goals and ambitions. And the symptom of a person who is influenced by such a mode is this mode of passion, is that even after knowing very well that all these ambitions and goals are not actually going to satisfy my heart completely, and all these things are just temporary, I cannot become happy at all by maintaining all these goals. And it's very hard and difficult to achieve all these goals, and it's just a waste of time, waste of human form of life. So even though after hearing or reading about this from the scriptures, still if somebody is unable to give it up, this ambitious life, to get reputation, fame, name and fame in this material existence, So such a person is certainly influenced by mode of passion. And the third mode, which is of course better than these two modes, known as mode of goodness, Satogun. But this mode of goodness is also another kind of obstacle, which we will explain later on. But right now, this first mode, which is third mode, is Satogun, mode of goodness. So this in this mode of goodness, one who is influenced by mode of goodness, the symptom of such a person is that as soon as he get to know something, he gets some knowledge, transcendental knowledge by reading Bhagavad Gita or by hearing devotees, he immediately understands what is reality, and he immediately keeps himself aloof from those activities which might entangle him in the mode of ignorance and passion. So, in the symptom of mode of goodness is that he gets enlightenment in transcendental knowledge. He understands what is not. He understands that I am not this body, I am a spirit soul. He understands that everything in this material world is temporary. So he does not hanker too much after material things, material goals, ambitions, fulfilling ambitions. He gives up the desire for sense gratification. Because he is intelligent. The only person who is intelligent in this material existence is that person who is situated in mode of goodness and who is able to say no to the desires for sense gratification. So, although a person who is situated in mode of goodness, he also sometimes gets the desires for sense enjoyment, sense gratification. Those desires may appear within his heart, but because he is situated in mode of goodness and he has the perfect knowledge, transcendental knowledge, so by the virtue of his goodness or piety or transcendental knowledge, he immediately rejects such proposal. He rejects it, and he saves himself from gliding down to the other mode, passion and ignorance. But the problem with this mode is that although a person who is situated in this mode, he has the discriminative knowledge to understand what is sinful activity, what is pious activity. But there are two problems with such kind of person situated in mode of goodness, and they are in Vedic time they are known as Brahmanas. So the problem is that they become too attached for performing religious ceremonies, religious functions, or pious activities. And sometimes, because of being engaged too much in performing pious activities and thereby experiencing sense of material happiness and peacefulness. Because as soon as one becomes free from impious activities, sinful activities, and situate oneself in the mode of goodness, and his life becomes pious. He has pious credit, pure life. So immediately he can experience peacefulness and happiness, sense of happiness. One can experience it. So because of this, he also gets distracted from the real goal of life to develop a deep love and affection for the Supreme Lord Krishna and for his service. So in this way, he also gets distracted. But such persons are fortunate if they get associated with some pure devotee. So in their association, the chance is there that they may immediately get turned toward a spiritual life completely, and they may dedicate themselves fully for the service of Krishna. But risk is also always there. Whereas persons in mode of ignorance and passion, because they cannot even control their mind and senses, so it becomes too hard for them to uh, to advance in Krishna consciousness. Even if they come and associate with devotees, exalted devotees also sometimes, so still they are unable to immediately give it up. But the beauty of Krishna consciousness is such that even if a person who is too much engrossed or influenced by modes of passion and ignorance, if he just continues to associate with a very exalted devotee, he doesn't gives up the association, even though sometimes he falls down because of the influence of mode of goodness and passion and ignorance. So definitely over the period of time, gradually, he is raised to the platform of pure goodness where he can fully surrender to Krishna. So that chance is always there. Doesn't matter whatever the situation may be for a living entity in this material world, how much he may be influenced by base qualities, mode of ignorance and passion. But still, if one is fortunate enough to get associated with very exalted devotee, then through his association or by serving him or following the instructions of such a bona fide spiritual master, even such kind of people can also gradually raise their consciousness to pure goodness, even better than brahmanas, better than mode of goodness. And the perfect example for this is how Srila Prabhupada, he preached and he converted many hippies or many people who were too much affected by modes of ignorance and passion. And they also raised themselves to the platform of pure goodness and became completely dedicated for the service of the Supreme Lord. So these are the three modes of material nature. One question has come. Can you repeat those four sinful activities influenced by mode of ignorance again? So those four sinful activities are meat eating, non-vegetarian food. Those who eat non-veg, they are certainly influenced by mode of ignorance. Those who take intoxication, drinking, smoking, etc. So that is another sinful activity. And third is those because of greed, excessive greed to earn more and more money. If somebody engages in gambling, that is also activity or mode of ignorance, sinful activity. And fourth is to have illicit sex, illicit connection. So that is also mode of ignorance. So these four sinful activities are great obstacles. It's not just ordinary obstacles. These are great obstacles. One who cannot give it up, it's very difficult for him to advance in Krishna consciousness. That's why we always emphasize on this point that one must strictly follow these four relative principles. Of course, in the beginning, if somebody who has been breaking any of these principles for a long time, so it may not be very easy for him to give it up completely immediately. But if he has the conviction or faith and a strong determination, and with that determination, conviction, and faith on devotees and the Supreme Lord and chanting of the holy name, if he continues to associate with devotees and takes shelter of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra very intensely, then over the period of time, not very long period of time, within short period of time, maybe few months also, he can get rid of all these kind of means sinful activities which he happened to be performing uh, for for a long period of time. Because but a person who is fortunate enough, the person who has never indulged, never broke any of the regulatory principles, so he's very fortunate. Why? Because for him it becomes then very easy to practice it in the association of devotees. He never feels any difficulty in following these four regulatory principles. But those people who have been just like you all, most of you are students. So it might be the case that it means when we live in the association, when we live under shelter of our parents, so we are saved. But the risk will always be there if we go out as we grow in our ages. So there is risk will always be there that we may end up in breaking some or all the principles, all the four related principles. So that's why as soon as we come in contact with the association of devotees, we should very tightly hold this association and never leave the association. Then there will be practically there will be no possibility that such a person who was well protected even before coming to the association of devotees, and one who has not taken association of devotees very seriously, and one who decides that I shall never give up associating with devotees and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then surely such a person can never commit any sinful activity, and this way his path to liberation is guaranteed. He can become free from material entangled. But a person who might have been entangled in breaking some of the regulatory principles, for him also there is no discouragement. The only thing is that he has to very patiently and with determination, he has to try his best to follow the instructions of the acharyas and the scriptures. So in the beginning, for such a person, the spiritual life may appear to be little difficult. But as if he doesn't lose his determination, and as he goes on serving Krishna, then gradually he also becomes situated. He can also situate himself on the same platform where a 100% pure soul is situated. Because all these contamination, all these anarthas, impurities, are not actually within the soul. It's just on the covering of the soul, that is mind and senses, you can say. So as soon as a person who might have performed so many sinful activities in his previous life or in this life also before coming to bhakti, so as soon as he becomes situated in complete association of devotees and practices Krishna consciousness very well, so he also attains to the same platform where a 100% pure devotee is situated. That is explained in the scriptures. Nitya Baddha, Nitya Siddha. So Nitya Siddha are those devotees who are eternally perfect. That means they never perform any sinful activities in their life. And Nitya Baddha means a person who has been performing sinful activities from time immemorial, since time immemorial. Not only in this birth, many previous lives also. But the Shastras explain if such a Nityabaddha means a conditioned soul who is very much inclined, the natural tendency for every conditioned soul is for performing sinful activities. So, who might be so much inclined to perform any kind of sinful activity, but if he is also fortunate enough to get the association of very some exalted devotees, then by their association, he can also raise himself to the same platform where a Nitya Siddha devotee is situated. That means eternally perfect devotee is situated. Because by completely taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet under the guidance of a spiritual master or under the guidance of a pure devotee, such a person also becomes a pure devotee like him. That is the potential of association. It's so powerful. Just like fire is there, if you put an iron bar within the fire, so after some time, the iron bar also becomes as good as fire and it can also burn. That is the potential. Similarly, any kind of conditioned soul in this material world, if he comes in contact with a pure devotee and under his guidance, if he starts practicing Krishna consciousness and fully surrenders to the Supreme Lord, hence, so he can also become as pure as that pure devotee, Nityasita. And so this is the potential. So anyway, so Lord Krishna, we'll discuss this verse tomorrow also. So Lord Krishna in this verse is telling, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavati. That's why Arjuna, the Vedic literatures, Karma Kanda section of the Vedic literature especially, they recommend these activities pertaining to the three modes of material nature. And these three modes of material nature, either goodness, passion, ignorance, it only binds us in this material world because it distracts us from the path of performing pure devotional service to the lotus feet of Krishna. That's why Krishna is telling, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. You become free from this three modes of material nature. That means you should not perform any activity which pertains to the three modes of material nature, whether it is religious activity or sinful activity. Of course, sinful activities we have to abandon by any means, but such kind of religious activities also known as karma kanda, one must give it up also, give up those religious activities also, which are very much inclined to give results based on three modes of material nature. That's Krishna is explaining. So, okay, we'll discuss more about it tomorrow. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare. Yes, Palak Mata.
हरे कृष्ण जी, प्योर डिवोटीज का एसोसिएशन जो है वो उसमें भी भक्ति सुकृति का कुछ रहता है क्या? क्योंकि वो सबको नहीं मिल पाता है ना। तो
Yes, Bhakti Sukriti. Previous lives Sukriti is required. One who is Sukritivan. भाग्यवान जिसको बोलते हैं. So they may get the chance to have the association of pure devotees, and by their association, then they can transcend these modes of materialization. So that is true. But we all are, we can all can say we are very fortunate. That means we had that bhakti sukriti from our previous life. That's why we got the association of Srila Prabhupada. We have come to right place where we get the complete all the teachings as it is without any compromise. Pure form of teaching is there. Now it's just up to us whether we are uh, willing to take the advantage of such association or not. That is up to us. Okay. Yes, Naman Pro, you have some question? It's a great misconception. Krishna never distracts a person. Rather, Krishna says, if somebody sincerely desires to become my pure devotee, so if by his, according to, because of his karma, if something is going to come on his way, which may distract him, I snatch it away. I steal it. I remove it. Krishna says, Harishe taddanam sanay. Yasyaham anugranami harishe taddanam sanay. That's why his name is Hari, Lord Hari. Lord Hari. Hari means one who takes away all those objects, people, situations from the path of a sincere devotee, which may become an obstacle. Because of our previous pious activities, we may be supposed to get some kind of allurements in this material world, some kind of good facility, opportunities for sense enjoyment. But if we become very sincere, sincerely desire to Krishna, to become Krishna conscious, then Krishna will remove such things. So we should not think this is another Maya's trick, that Maya forces us to think that, oh, I'm getting so much allurements, maybe Krishna doesn't want me to become Krishna conscious. Okay, let me then enjoy Maya. No, it's a misconception. Okay, so because time is less, we'll discuss more about it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.